dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Good to be with you on this Sunday night. The cleanup continues after the most recent flood. In Letcher County, officials and locals are searching for answers after the flood on Friday set recovery efforts back. The heavy rain knocked out temporary bridges built after the July flood, leaving some Letcher Countyans stranded. Letcher County Magistrate Kenny Anderson says his constituents are becoming more frustrated every day, and he has no clear solution.
It is. It's very frustrating. You know, we go out and people like this, and like I said, I've got 3 more in this district. You know, I go out there and face them with no answers. You know, that gets aggravating.
Letcher County declared a state of emergency, as did several other counties, after the most recent flooding.
Well, the good news tonight, all is quiet across the mountains in terms of weather, but that is going to change as we get into your Monday and beyond. Here's a live look right now over at UVA Wise, looking at a quiet evening across the region right now. Current temperature at Wise well above average, 46 degrees right now, and most of us still in the upper 40s and lower 50s at this hour. 54 in Somerset, 51 for Jackson, also 51 for Pikeville, 52 in Clintonwood, and 49 over in London. So still very comfortable as you step outside right now. Also some good news, we are dry on radar, but notice clouds continue to stream into the region. We also still have a few flood warnings out there. High water still an issue in some places. A flood warning for Estill County through Monday at noon. Also one for Whitley County through 10 o'clock on Monday night. So be sure to keep an eye on that. As we go into tonight, though, all is quiet. Temperatures falling into the upper 30s and lower 40s. A comfortable night is on tap, and a big warm up also on tap into next week. All those details coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. A family in Rockcastle County has lost their home after a fire. Crews responded to the fire on West Level Green Road in Broadhead shortly after 8:30 this morning. After working to put the fire out, the home was left a total loss. No injuries have been reported. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. Officials with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office are warning folks about a new phone scam. Sheriff John Root says the scammer identifies himself as 911 dispatch and asks people to reveal their personal information. The scam number is reportedly 606-310-0832. However, Sheriff Root says other phone numbers could be used, and law enforcement cannot trace the numbers due to programming loopholes. The sheriff says you should not give out personal data or financial information, and you should report the scam. A new study finds contracting COVID-19 could give you strong protection against reinfection for up to 10 months. The study says your immune system can provide almost 90% protection against all variants.
Now that means doesn't mean you won't get COVID, okay? But it means if you get COVID, you're less likely to end up in the hospital or with a severe problem with it. So yes, immunity probably wanes a little bit, and even though our antibodies go away, the body has other ways, other immune systems that may kick in if you are exposed to COVID.
Right now, most Kentucky counties are in the green, meaning low COVID-19 community levels. Nearly 30 are in the yellow, and 2, Elliott and Greenup in northeastern Kentucky, are in the red. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says non-farm payroll employment increased by more than $500,000 in January. The inflation rate slowed slightly last month, but the Kentucky Retail Federation says it has not seen any big changes. Julia Sandor has more on the impacts on our local businesses.
The Kentucky Retail Federation says they're seeing inflation slowly come down. Steve McLean says they saw holiday sales go up last year, but not as much as some people predicted. As this year kicks off, they expect to see consumers shopping carefully.
The cost of getting goods in is still stubbornly high right now. Demand is still, the consumers have been surprisingly resilient even as costs have gone up last year. Even though we saw them being more cautious, they were still spending.
Calypso Boutique in Lexington understands the expenses of being a small local business.
I will say, like, our prices from our wholesale vendors have gone up, but you know, with that being said, we're really trying to stay consistent with our pricing for our customers, because when they come in, they know what to expect in Calypso.
Regardless of high vendor prices, Shelby Hatchett says they still have a lot of business in store and online.
We're at a good happy medium right now, and we're really excited for that.
McLean says although unemployment numbers have improved and inflation rates have slightly lowered, prices in grocery stores or gas stations still may be high. For small Kentucky businesses like Calypso Boutique, they say they're happy to have so much support from those around them.
We always try to say, like, if you're shopping small, then it makes our day. No matter what business it is, if you're shopping with us or High on Art and Coffee right around the corner, we love to see you all.
In Lexington, Julia Sandor, WKYT.
As the year continues, experts say they expect to see these prices decline. Well, after seeing revivals taking place across the Commonwealth, a few Perry Countyans felt called to host a similar experience for people in their own community. The community prayer and praise event took place at the Art Station in downtown Hazard earlier today. Event organizers say they wanted to host something that goes beyond church walls, inviting people of all walks of life to congregate with one another.
Well, I once heard a pastor say, I wish I could put a sign out on the door that said, only sinners allowed. Because just because we're in the church and we are vocal about our belief in God and we worship, doesn't mean that we're perfect by any means, or that we haven't hurt people, or that we've not done wrong ourselves, and that we don't need to repent of those things.
Event organizers say it was exciting to see everyone come together, but they add that this gathering is so much bigger than them. They say they hope to host more events like this in the future if God allows them to. About 24 friends, family, and supporters joined Serenity McKinney's dad and grandmother yesterday for their first visit to the spot her body was found in southern Jefferson County. They described her as a joyful, warm, and loving little girl that loved to play. In memory of her now stands a pink cross and a windmill to ensure that her spirit and memory will live on forever. Serenity's grandmother tells us what has kept her going for what she calls the hardest year of her life.
This has been a very, very difficult year for me. Since we lost her, my life has been in shambles. It is, and I'm trying to get back where I need to be, because we have to get justice.
While they do miss her, the family says they can take a little solace in knowing that her story has touched so many people and changed so many lives. Serenity's mother and her mother's boyfriend are both charged with murder. President Joe Biden spent the weekend in Washington, where new diplomatic challenges with Russia and China are of mounting concern. CBS's Skylar Henry is at the White House with the latest.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken was firm, talking about balloon blow-up.
It doesn't matter in the sense that China is responsible for this action, and ultimately, as the leader of the country, President Xi is responsible.
He met with China's top diplomat Saturday in Munich, stressing the importance of a direct line of communication between the two sides, though the already strained relationship with Beijing may be widening. Today, the country's foreign ministry issued a statement announcing if the U.S. continues to fuss over and escalate the unintended and isolated incident, it should not expect the Chinese side to flinch.
No one, of course, wants a Cold War, but that isn't the issue. What we want is a China that is not going to be an aggressor state, that's not going to be building up its military and threatening the United States.
U.S. officials are concerned that Chinese state-owned companies could soon provide Russia with lethal military assistance, including weapons and ammunition for its war against Ukraine.
And to the Chinese, if you jump on the Putin train now, you're dumber than dirt. It would be like buying a ticket on the Titanic after you saw the movie. Don't do this.
China claims it's working on a peace proposal to end the conflict, but that's contrary to U.S. intelligence.
The president is headed to Poland tomorrow to mark 1 year since the Russia-Ukraine war began. Officials say at this time there are no plans for Mr. Biden to head into Ukraine. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Coming up on Mountain News at 11, officials believe the run, hide, fight protocol may be outdated. We talk with experts about self-defense skills that are becoming more necessary in today's society.
And rain chances look to return as early as tomorrow. That full first alert forecast coming up next.